This video is for you. Yeah, you. I know that you're out there and you're thinking, man, all this blowing up my opponent's lands sounds like a lot of fun, but I don't own Mox Diamonds, and also I don't want to be playing a tier 1 deck. I want to be having some fun. This is Premodern. We want to try wacky stuff. We want to try weird stuff. Well, buckle up, because this one you're going to enjoy. I present to you today Magnivore. Yes, this is what we're gonna be doing today. We're gonna be casting some Magnivores, and you will wonder, well, I guess I have to play some sorceries. Sorceries suck. Well, no, they don't. First of all, we can start blowing up some lands, and this is something that I'm going to go over real quick, which is the presence of pillage. This card, yes, I know it's pretty good, and a lot of people I have heard saying, well, why don't you add pillage to your red-green oath? That seems like a much better card than Winter's Grasp. Well, this costs double red, and the red-green oath deck is not well suited to cast those spells. But what we're doing here is we are actually base red in this deck, and we're going to be helping ourselves with rampant growth in order to be able to get ahead on mana as opposed to using Mox Diamond. We're also stealing some tech, of course. We're taking Sylvan Library and we're taking Oath of Druids, but, you know, we're Oath of Druids into a Magnivore, you know what I'm saying? we're not playing easy here. So, yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. This is also a Burning Wish deck. This is a card that I've tried multiple times on multiple different shells, as this is the first time that I'm like legitimately excited about it, because the stuff that we can get really comes at the higher mana cost, and the higher mana costs are not easy to reach for most decks. But this deck actually has a bunch of lands, 24 lands, and the 4 rampant growth in order to speed up the process, and the cards that we can go get are some serious bangers. Like, of course, I'm playing the one of Wildfire. This may be a meme, or this may be great, I don't know. I also have Anarchy instead of Wildfire at some point, but I just want to have some fun here. We have Pyroclasm to go find. We have, this one is kind of a juicy one. Restock, return 2 target cards from your graveyard to your hand. Like, this card, I have high hopes for this one. Grizzly Fate is one of, this one's pretty nice. It is one classic one that I remember from way back in the day, and I remember like looking at it and just being blown out by how can you make so many bears? Like, it's how can you ever lose? And yeah, it turns out you can. Then we have some Ravenous Bellows. This is just to respect burn. Like, I couldn't find anything better. Reverent Silence can for free blow up a bunch of enchantments, which is pretty decent. Dwell on the Past is a juicy one as well. First of all, Rebecca Way art is just every time, and second of all, it can be pretty surprising to just go Burning Wish into Dwell on the Past and like mess up some replenish things. And then of course Hull Breach. And speaking of Hull Breach, we're actually main decking it because well, it's a sorcery and we like sorceries, and we have some fireballs, we have Call of the Herd, as I talk about, Pillage and Stone Rain, and yes, I'm indulging a little bit here, and I'm throwing in there a Singleton Hammer of Bogarden. Like, this just sounds way too sweet to not play. Then we have the mana base, which is super clean with the 4 Treat of Villages, and everything else is just a color producing land or some basics, so we can go get with rampant growth, and a couple of dust bows to round things out. I also thought about building this mana base using Reshad and Port, but ended up going this way instead. Port sounds really, really good when we're trying to set up something like Wildfire, but it's just way too many non-colored slots, and I really wanted to have access to, you know, Triple Moss Fire Valley, Carplusen Forest. We actually get to have access to a bunch of duels, and we get to have some very, very clean mana, and I wanted to take advantage of that. It's possible that going for ports may be better, but I want to try this out, and this has the side effect of being better against Savos Web, so that's also pretty nice. And yeah, that's kind of what we're going to be playing. This is going to be a Call of the Herd deck first and foremost. Like, I feel like this is far and away the best card in the deck, if I'm being honest. And yeah, the last thing that I wanted to mention real quick is that we're only playing 3 Magnivores, and the reason for that is that if I'm going to Oath into Magnivore, I want to basically find as many sorceries as I can, and like Terravore, where you are playing a deck with 28 lands and you're just blowing up your opponent's land, so like it almost doesn't matter. Like, if you ever trigger Oath, your Terravore will be pretty sizable. That's not necessarily true here, especially because the decks where Oath is the best against, we are going to be the only ones helping grow the Magnivore. So because of that, I wanted to have less actual copies of Magnivore, so that I am more likely to go through more sorceries on the way to get there. So this is going to be the deck that we're going to be playing today. We're going to definitely be having some fun. And yeah, I wanted to mention real quick that all of my content will always be free. But if you would like to support my content, that you like to throw some bucks my way because you're really enjoying it, you can find the link to my Patreon in the description of the video down below. I'm going to post a link up there. And yeah, let's dive into some matches and let's have some fun with this one. Round number 1, what do we got here? Ooh, we have a nice start. So if my opponent plays a creature, we get to play an Oath, and if they play something that we can blow up a land. So, oh, interesting. So I guess we're just playing against, I imagine this is going to be the deck that blows up its everything. What's the name of the, oh man, the white 2-card Balancing Act. Balancing Act, that's the name. Quiet Spec. So I think we're just going to blow up this Ancient Spring here. So play a land, Stone Rain. They found something. Well, now what? I mean, we get to swing for 6. That seems pretty decent. Some clock. My opponent's gonna really need to find something quickly here. 6, yeah. Do you have it? Next turn we can swing for 10. Not bad at all. You want to flashback a Roar of the Worm? Go ahead. You want to draw 2? Pay 3 life? Go ahead. Can I find the land destruction spell here, please? Ugh, unfortunate. So I think we're just going to sandbag lands here. So we can swing for 3 plus 6. That's 9. That's a 2-turn clock. I'm trying to think whether it's worth it to Rampant Growth, but like it doesn't actually change the clock. So I think I'm just going to swing for 9 and then just leave it at that. We have lethal next turn. We're sandbagging land so that we can recoup afterwards. Cast Impulse. So they're gonna need to find like LED plus the Balancing Act. This means they're gonna be able to have the double white mana because they can have white here. But yeah, they need both pieces and they don't have time to Burning Wish. They also don't have time to Deep Analysis. They're sacking some lands. Let's see what this means. Burning Wish for Balancing Act. Lotus Petal. Okay. We're also sitting pretty at 19, which means we can take 3 hits. Okay, opponent gets 1 more look to find LED with this Impulse. Okay, so sacrifice full permanents, and then they have to discard the card. So if we find any land, I think we are pretty heavy favorites. Hey, there we go. I think I just play a Rampant Growth, get a Mountain, and say go. I'm gonna have my opponent flashback the Roar of the Worm before playing out the Oath of Druids. Ooh, they flashback Deep Analysis. Interesting. Nice. Gonna Dust Bowl, which one? The one that gives them blue mana, I guess. And I think I'm sacrificing the basic forest because I can find the Pillage. Okay. Yeah, let's throw a land there. Dust Bowl was a heck of a draw there. Cycling Abeyance, you got it. Wow, cracking a Lotus Petal just to Impulse. Nice. Good draw. That's a 3-3. Can you beat a 3-3? Yo, this deck is sick. Alright, what do we have here? Definitely Phyrexian Furnace. Don't think I want the Breaches. I don't think my opponent will ever just play out an LED, unless they just make a mistake. Also, Slice and Dice seems pretty bad. I do think I want the Pyroblast Revs. Just countering any blue spell seems fine to me. And maybe I want Bailots over Oath of Druids. The thing is, Oath of Druids seems kind of tough for my opponent to beat. But maybe just casting a Proactive Threat is better. Let's just do like a little split. Unclear, but like it seems hard for my opponent to be able to close out the game if I'm able to like sandbag some lands and then hold back Oath of Druids. This seems like a pretty nice draw here. We get to play Treetop on 1, then probably just hold up Sacred Guide. Reveal cards at the top of your library into a white card, put that card into your hand, and exile all cards revealed this way. Interesting. Well, now we just get to Oath, which is cool. Oath of Druids, your go. We're gonna do some land blowing up as well. So they have to sacrifice now. Oh, they give me a trigger? Or are they gonna sack now? Okay. Yeah, they really have to. Otherwise, I just get a free Magnivore. That does not sound like a good deal for them. Okay, they exiled a lot of cards. They do have a Balancing Act in hand now. Multiple Deep Analyses, LEDs, Roar of the Worm, Quiet Spec, Chain of Vapor. Let's play a Mountain. I'm gonna Pillage. Leave them without blue. Interesting how they play out lands. So, we drew a wish. Can we wish for anything good here? Not really. But I do feel like I need to put on some pressure. So I'm just going to cast Call of the Herd and hold up Reb. This means I don't get to I don't get to hold a land in hand, which I really wish I could. They do get an Oath trigger. I don't think I care. Maybe they have another one of these Sacred Guide, but looks like they don't. Well, that's the LED. They have the Roar of the Worm in hand. That's brutal. Okay, so this one we actually got. I don't think there's anything we can do. And I'm just gonna concede to not show my opponent that I have Wish and Red Elemental Blast. Yeah, my opponent's hand just looked very well set up there. I don't think there was much I could have done. Yeah, we're just gonna submit again. The Oaths seem kind of medium. Sure, let's keep this. We're gonna try to be as aggressive as we can. I do like that we can Rampant Growth or Library on 2. We get our choice. Opponent moves to 5. Leading on Forest, so I am delaying the choice with the Wooded Foothills. No land drop. Well, that's good for me. That's also good for me. So I guess we're just going to Rampant Growth for a mountain and pass the turn. Now this turn we're gonna start maybe blowing up some lands. Yep. So play out Treetop. Pillage that. Dust Bowl that one too. I think I'm sucking this basic forest. Opponent's deck is entirely non-basics into the Dust Bowl. Feels good, man. Woo! Now we're talking. Furnace you, and I'm going to just cast a library here and start to get that cooking. That one's getting blown up. So any land is a great draw. That's also a clock, which is awesome. Don't love the Oath of Druids. I don't really love the Reb anyway, but I'm just gonna draw it because I really want to. We're gonna use this turn to set up the clock. We're holding up double Reb so we can counter any sort of impulse style cards, and then we can continue blowing up lands next turn. So let's get rid of that. But now we're gonna have access to a clock, which is pretty good for us. We're gonna definitely pay here, play a land, swing for 3. On this turn we are gonna Dust Bowl. Dust Bowl, 1, 2, 3, sack 1 Dust Bowl. I do like that due to how the LED part of the combo works, we can actually get rid of whatever my opponent discards. So if they discard a Roar of the Worm, we can actually Phyrexian Furnace it. Yeah, so here we're just going to basically use our resources, which is great. Just cast the cards in our hand to keep on our clock in play. Exile a card, then tap. Looking for more lands. Yeah, that one plays. Swing for 3. Stone Rain the blue source. This Firebolt is actually quite important because it takes a turn off the clock. Okay, Firebolt you, I guess. I'm gonna have the extra mana this turn, so I want to use it. Opponent impulses, and we're just going to Power Blast. My opponent could have another Chain of Vapor here, which would be a little bit annoying, but Lotus Petal, LED, the sack Crystal Vein, Burning Wish for Balancing Act. Okay, so they're going to be able to Balancing Act, but now we're going to be in a top deck war, effectively. Bad part is that we know that we're drawing an Oath, which is pretty much a dead draw, but we do have more lands than my opponent. My opponent does have access to LED as a top deck, though. Specifically, LED is a problem. Okay, that's a land. No land for us. Let's see who finds lands more quickly. That's a Rampant Growth, which is not terrible. Okay, Treetop is good. Treetop is very good. Any land. Not that one. Okay, my opponent found another land. Ugh. Gotta find any land at all. Opponent's flashing back Deep Analysis. Okay, that's green. So that means they can flash back the... Okay, that's huge. So now we play out the Oath. This means that my opponent cannot flash back the Roar of the Worm. Because if they flash back the Roar of the Worm, then we just get a giant Magnivore. So now the Oath just sits there. Meaning that my opponent can't do anything. And then I can start doing stuff right after. Okay, Balancing Act. Well, I guess here we go again. We don't have to discard our hand, however. So we're once again in the same situation, where we just have to find some lands. Okay, that's a good one. That's probably the best one to find. That's a big boy. So any land at all. No, that's not it. Oh man, no. Okay, oh my god. This is so close. This is so close. Can I draw any land whatsoever? Now they get to flashback the Roar? Any land at all, and we win. Okay. This is a blocker. I guess we have to dodge Chain of... No! Chain of Vapor doesn't do anything because we get to bounce their thing. So we are going to get to do some chump blocking in the hopes of finding land. Yes! Yes! This is so sick! Yes! Oh my god! 13, yeah, baby! Woo! Yes! Oh, this is sick! I love this deck! Okay, I already won. I already won the league. Let's just quit while we're ahead, because this was incredible. Round number 2 after a crazy first match. Yeah, I think I keep this. I think I'm just gonna play a basic and go basic swamp. The rest. I imagine they take the library. We'd love to draw another one, but we don't. It's okay though. Our Magnivore is growing. It's a 2/2 now. Probably won't play it for quite a bit though. It's not great. But we get to blow up a black source though. Now Magniboy is a 3/3. So many walls. It's actually kind of a decent draw because I get to do this. We swing and then second main we firebolt. Now my dude is a 4/4. We also have the fireball flashback here, which is nice. Survival's kind of beating. Burning Wish would be very good though. Burning Wish would be really, really strong. So I guess we just go face now, so that we can swing for 5. No reason to hold on to the land, but I'm not gonna fetch, because I can just draw Sylvan Library. Problem now is my opponent gets to start doing survival things. But Burning Wish for Wildfire would be kind of insane, not gonna lie. My Elder's pretty good here. Pillage. So if I use this turn to flashback Firebolt on the Elder, we get to get in for 5. But then my opponent's gonna be able to go get Bone Shredder. Although I guess they can go get Bone Shredder regardless. I can swing for 4 down to 9. Nah, I think I'd rather just Pillage. Not gonna give my opponent the freelance. So my Elder's pretty good here. Really, really strong. But I just can't give them Bone Shredder mana. Yeah, they go get Bone Shredder anyway. Which makes sense. They have to hope they find the black source. Or they can just crack the Elder and set it up for the following turn. Opponent's just going off with Squee over there. Opponent gets a Burst of Paradise. We can fireball the birds. What can we go get? We could go get Pyroclasm. Can go get Hull Breach. Restock is interesting. I don't think we can go get Wildfire because then my opponent goes to get the Mesmeric Fiend. So that part is kind of awkward. Man, this is really rough. So I think we don't attack. So I'm thinking that my opponent is going to need to have Mesmeric Fiend. If I attack, then my opponent gets to Bone Shredder and Mesmeric Fiend the same turn. So I think it's better for me to not attack and just spend this turn Burning Wishing for Wildfire. And now we pass the turn. Now my opponent is going to be forced to go get Mesmeric Fiend. Next turn we can Fireball the Mesmeric Fiend. Obviously if my opponent has to do rest in hand, we get absolutely demolished, but it is what it is. Opponent gets Squee back. Cabal Therapy is also a beating. Yeah, they have it. Yeah, that's brutal. But yeah, I was exactly 1 mana short, so the ideal would have been to just go Wish for Wildfire plus Flashback Fireball to kill the bird. But we just did not have enough mana to do everything. Crack the Elder, get a couple of swamps, draw a card, another bird. Well, we can go with Pyroclasm now. Or not. Chomp. So they chomp with the wall and get 1 Squee activation, which is pretty good. Man, that Elder just messed me up so badly. Pretty devastating. So now we Firebolt one of these birds and send the turn back. Still trying to bottleneck my opponent on mana a little bit here. It's the only axis where I almost have a shot. But I think here comes the Bone Shredder. Yeah, that really messes things up for me. I mean, I could find another Magnivore. Oath doesn't really do it because my opponent has enough mana to do everything here, and like just finding a land is just brutal. Still have to flashback here to kill the bird, but this is just kind of a losing proposition at this point. Yeah, the fact that they had that duress in that key turn was too much. Maybe I should have just played it safe and gone for the Hull Breach to destroy the survival. Maybe that was just the correct way to go about it. Oath of Ghouls. So I guess what Oath of Ghouls does here is if they have more creatures in graveyard than I do, then they get creatures back. That's an interesting card. It's definitely going to do a lot of work here. Avalanche Riders? Yeah, that sounds really bad. Spirit of the Night? Holy smokes, wow. That sure is something. Monk Realist. That's a lot of splashes. They have to go get the Nantuko guy here, right? Leaving Death. Okay, my opponent is cooking over there. Wow. Leaving Death. That's insane. That's so cool. Everything made sense now. Alright, bring in the Phyrexian Furnace. And probably maybe Pyroclasm? I'm not even sure it's that good, honestly. Oath seems good. Slice and Dice seems also good. Hammer maybe. Actually pretty decent here. Yeah, I think I just want the Phyrexian Furnace and I want everything else to remain in my sideboard for wish purposes. Sweet deck that my opponent is playing over there. What do we want to cut for the Furnace? Maybe the Hammer? Hammer would have been pretty good there, I'll tell you that much. Maybe Call of the Herd is kind of medium because they have so many walls. Damn, Living Death is such a great card. Sure. Not the best hand I've ever seen, but I do like that we have some early interaction and we can blow up lands. I like blowing up lands. Man, if only my opponent hadn't had the duress. Okay, that's a really nice pickup. Kind of the perfect draw there. Pretty much the perfect draw. Naturalize. Brutal. Okay, gonna blow up a green source, I think. Guess I should have blown up a black source. That sucks. Survival is a lot. We do have Fireball though, which is nice. My best draw would be a Hull Breach, because that would allow me to blow up the Survival and play a Call of the Herd in the same turn, which would be pretty good. Oath of Ghouls. Okay, swing for 3. And I guess I'm just going to cast my spells here. Send the turn back. Fortunately, my opponent's deck is pure basics. They get Withered Wretch here. But this is basically like every creature is a squee. The Oath of Ghouls, that is. They're gonna eat the calls. So we're gonna swing for 6. Opponent doesn't block. Blow up a black source. And I think I just want to pass the turn. There's no need to kill the Withered Wretch there because my opponent can just get it back and I can just kill it next turn if I want to. There's a Wall of Roots, which is very annoying. Okay, so we're gonna swing. Interesting. So they just block with that. Alright. My opponent correctly playing around Firebolt there. So now they can go get Bone Shredder. Now they have the Bone Shredder engine going. They get Elder instead. Interesting. I would have taken the Bone Shredder there. So we have 7 mana, which is a very awkward amount. But I'm still going to swing. I have to attempt to end the game here. We'll see if my opponent goes to find a basic. Okay, they don't get a basic plains. So let's play out Library. And I think I just pass. They can go get back the Elder now, which they do. Man, that's a heck of an engine. Ugh, another Naturalize. Devastating. My opponent's draw has been a little bit too good. We have to keep on keeping on here. Okay. So I think this is the turn where we just double Firebolt my opponent after dropping the Treetop Village. So now they go back down to 1. So now you're gonna be forced, because I have a Trampler in play, they're gonna be forced to go get some sort of life gain creature. They just cannot mess around with Yavimaya Elder anymore. And of course, because they can get back the Withered Wretch, I have to do the Firebolt thing immediately. So otherwise my opponent just gets to flashback use the Withered Wretch to mess up my flashback. Man, this Oath of Ghouls is doing insane work. Opponent has 9 cards in hand. It basically turns every single creature into a squee. Wall of Blossoms. Probably go get Bone Shredder, which I feel like they should have done a while ago. Radiance Dragoons. Brutal. Oh, Monk Reel, is this not a May? They're forced. That's rough. They're just forced to blow up their own Oath. I mean, not that it matters. Like, my opponent's crazy ahead here. Maybe I can find a Wish? No. I mean, Wish would have been kind of insane there. Just go get Wildfire, blow everything up, and then swing a couple of turns from now with the Treetop Village. Yeah, this splash colors are super iffy in my opponent's deck. I feel like that mana base needs a little bit more love. But the idea is very interesting. I was talking to Will about a very similar concept to my opponent's deck like 6 months ago or something. He made a video with a survival living death deck. And I built like a living death cycling deck, which looked pretty fun. But yeah, with Burst of Paradise as your only white source, like you need to have at least 1 basic plains for Yavimaya Elder. Hermit Druid. My opponent's deck is super spicy. I cannot actually get blocked with the Treetop because my opponent can just go find Bone Shredder. Although I guess they already played their land, so maybe it would be fine. Man, the 2 Naturalizes were super brutal. Had I had access to one of my libraries, at least for a turn. Well, yes! Yes! We are doing this! Oh, this is so happening. Yes, I would like to Burning Wish, please. I'm thinking if I want to restock, but I don't think I do. I think we just Wildfire. We have nothing in the sideboard that shoots face. Very unfortunate. Boom! Might as well eat something with the Withered Wretch, especially knowing that I have Magnivore in my deck. Oh, they choose to draw. Interesting. I guess it makes sense. Discard that one, that one, that one, and that one. Too bad that we didn't have enough. We were 2 mana short of being able to attack in the same turn. They keep 2 black sources. It's actually super interesting. Why would they keep 2 black? They're just out of swamps. But now they can't go survival into wall. I guess they have a wall in hand already. Maybe they just had a Wall of Roots in hand all along. Pitch Bone Shredder. What can they have for black? Yeah, I think they just messed up. So what they should have done is they keep a green source, then they just pitch anything, go get a Wall of Roots, and then Wall of Roots just checks my Treetop Village. So that was a mistake on my opponent's side. Okay, game number 3. Oh yeah, okay, so my opponent says that they misclick on that Wildfire. Okay, that makes sense. I think I want the other Hull Breach. Do we just keep the hammer in the sideboard? I feel like hammer's fine in the main. Maybe cut a Stone Rain. Actually, Pillage... My opponent doesn't have any artifacts, and Pillage is just harder to cast the Stone Rain, so I'm gonna keep the Stone Rains here. Yeah, we're going with this. Game 3. This hand seems very good. We really want to dodge Duress. If we dodge Duress, we're going to be in good shape. Opponent moves to 6, and we dodge Duress. Very cool. We have not seen UW Argenought. Ooh, finally they have a white source. Man, they always have the naturalize. Rampant Growth. Gonna go get a green source here, I guess. Now Restock is live because of the Furnace and the basic. So this is what they top decked, otherwise they would have obviously played this first. Would love to draw a 2-drop here. That's not a 2-drop, unfortunately. But I just cannot allow my opponent to untap with Survival in play. So we're just gonna have the most awkward turn ever. I wonder if they have Auramancer. Hermit Druid. Hermit Druid's actually kind of sick when I'm trying to, you know, keep them off mana. Not bad. Okay, go after the black source. I tapped poorly there, but like it doesn't matter. Should have probably left like the Carpathian Forest and tapped or something. So they did find a swamp. Man, this Hermit Druid's just owning me so badly. What to do? Do I have to pillage now? I think I call. Once again, tapped horribly. But I cannot really beat this Hermit Druid. Just drawing an extra land every turn. Okay, might as well serve with the elephant token. They take it. Interesting. I'm just gonna pillage the black source, I think. Opponent keeps doing some Hermit Druid stuff. They got a free squee out of the deal. Man, value Hermit Druid is underrated. So my goal here is to try to slow down the Living Death as much as I can. Drawing a land would be great. It allows me to do 2 things in the same turn. Okay, cool. So this means that I can attack with Treetop now. And I want to do it like this so I can threaten to bolt the wall. But my opponent doesn't take it. Okay, so we have to keep on Stone Raining though, because I can't have my opponent have 2 black sources. It's another black. So I know they have a forest and a squee. That's a nice draw actually. I think this turn we just Magnivore. Kind of sweet that my opponent can't actually Vendetta here, nor Smother. Really, they just take it? Well, I'm definitely think I just go face. There's no Withered Wretch in the graveyard, so I think I just go face with this. Because I think my opponent's just setting up Living Death here. And I just have to hope that they don't flip a Radiance Dragoons, which they don't. They didn't find the black source either. And also didn't find Withered Wretch. So we may be able to get there thanks to the Magnivore. They flipped over half their deck, but they don't have lethal, and I have a Firebolt ready to be flashed back next turn. They also don't have 2 black sources. So I think this is the win. Wow, we got there. Woo, baby. Man, this deck is actually kind of fun. Like, haste is a heck of a keyword, let me tell you that much. Wow, crazy match. See you for the next round. Round number 3, playing against Lanny. Man, this hand is so close to being insane, but I don't think we can afford to keep 2 landers with this deck. I do like this, though. So I'm gonna bottom the Stone Rain, and then let's go basic forest and pass. No idea what Lanny's up to. Maybe... Okay, he's still on Mono Blue Shrimp? No, Gat. It's not a great draw, unfortunately. Just gonna wish. Okay, so he just cycling. So this is just Gat. Oh, into Daze. Okay, that's fine. So that means they don't counter my library, so happy about that. Somewhat happy about that. Winter Orb. That's kind of brutal. Portent. So he is missing land drops at least. Main deck Winter Orb sure is something. He did find a land. I think I'm just gonna library anyway, just so he needs to use counterspell. Tapping the island instead of the Mox. Alright, so that resolved. I would want to assume that means he doesn't have counterspell. Would love for him to tap out. So he doesn't shuffle, he's gonna get some pretty good value there. See if we can find some lands here. That is 1 land. Oh baby. Yeah, so put that one at the bottom. I'm just gonna draw 2 of these lands, I think. I'm just gonna pass. I've seen Daze and I don't want to run into Daze, so I think I'd rather just hang out here. It's gonna gush. Get in. As a dream. It's kind of as good as it gets for him. Kanda just had it all. Mox into Winter Orb into Geddon. We do have the library though, so if there's one card that can save us here, it's Sylvan Library. We're going to be hitting at least 1 land drop. We have looking at... Oh, we know that there's a mountain on top as well, which is nice. So that's cool. That's a Rampant Growth, which is fantastic. I kind of want all of these. I think I'm just going to pay 4, but I'm going to play the mountain so I don't shuffle. Actually, I don't think I want the Rampant Growth because of the Winter Orb, since the land are tapped. I don't think he played Winter Orb nor Geddon in his Lobster Con list. Okay, so we're gonna shuffle these away. And I guess I am going to play the Oath here to bait out a counterspell. Mostly so I use mana in the face of this Winter Orb. Why is he tapping like that? Okay, okay, that makes sense. So he's gonna use all the mana. So white source, the call. Untap a green source, no land. I'm just gonna concede here. I'm way too far behind and missing a land drop there. Like we can keep on playing, but it's just not gonna work out for me. So let's bring in Pyroblast. I think that's it. I don't think I want Pyroclasms. I also don't think I want Slice and Dice. Hull Breach seems fine. Oath seems fine. Hammer does not seem like what I want to be doing though. I do think I probably want Furnace because of Psychotog. Maybe in place of a Stone Rain. Yeah, that seems fine. Gush into Geddon. It's a heck of a 1-2 punch. Grisly Fate seems pretty challenging for him to beat if I ever land it, which is interesting. Kind of a funny thought. I don't think I want to main deck it, but it's just kind of funny to think about. Baloth even good against what he's doing. Not even sure. Pyroclasm seems okay at killing meddling mages though. I think I like it better than Stone Rain. Okay, not fast enough. What do we got? This hand seems fine actually. Play a land, go. Just gonna Pyroblast here, I think. Trades 1 for 1. Messes up with his mana. I think it's worth it. Pretty aggressive, not gonna lie, but it's also pretty clear that he doesn't have Daze, which seems good for me. That's a nice draw. Let's lead on Pillage. I think it's less valuable than Call of the Herd. He can gush here, but if he gushes, he's going to discard, so I think I'm fine with that. Fetches, AK, okay, and that just resolves. So he's missing land drops, so we're just gonna counter this. Boom, Call of the Herd. So you wanna cheat on lands, Lanny, huh? That's pretty nice. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That worked out pretty nicely. And now I think we may be just too far ahead for him to catch up. He can gush, he can, unless he has like Powder Keg or something. Double Mox or something like that. Draw 2 with AK, sounds good. Go up to 11 cards. The Mox, that's another Mox. And now what? Ray of Revelation. Hull Breach. Snap this off right now. Nice top deck. Nimble Mongoose. You got it. So I think we just chill here. He could have another Mongoose to trade with this other elephant, but just firebolted. Okay, there you go. I think we sandbag that land. Okay, pass the turn. So because he had exactly Mongoose, I feel like we can wait here. Oh yes, Plow. Never mind, we shouldn't have waited. So my idea was I can draw for X in Furnace. Oh, there we go. Oh, I miss lethal. Oh, never mind. I mean, whatever, that doesn't matter. I could have just firebolted first, and then this would be a 5-5, honestly. I didn't even think about it. Got too excited when I drew the Magnivore. I don't think there's anything that he can draw that can get him out of this anyway, so I don't think it really matters. It's just hilarious. So he draws. Nice. So. Oh man, I love this so much. I'm loving this so much. Alright, so I guess Pyroclasm is better than Stone Rain. And Baloth being a 4-4 lines up super well against the Nimble Mongoose. So I think I'm just gonna cut at least one Firebolt. Could just cut wishes, honestly. Just cut one wish. Just cut one wish, one Firebolt. Man, I love Grisly Fate so much though. I kinda really want to Grisly Fate. Yeah, let's Grisly Fate. Let's Grisly Fate. Let's not trick ourselves into thinking that we do not want to Grisly Fate. We want to Grisly Fate. Also, this deck kind of gets Threshold going somewhat reliably. Not super reliably, but somewhat reliably. And this Cyber League is all over the place, but it's okay. We like it that way. I'm going to tell myself that the aggressive Pyroblasts were good. Sure, let's keep this. Question is whether to Rampant Growth on 2. Well, now we know. Definitely going to be Breaching the Hall. Turn 1 Dryad is pretty brutal. And us drawing a land is not where we want to be. We kind of really need an Oath now. We're gonna run into days too. Like this is literally the only thing I was scared of. Everything else I can beat fairly easily, but the early Quirion Dryad is truly devastating here. So he does get some cantripping. Ugh, that's so bad for me. We have to Hull Breach, I think. We have to mess with the mana, or attempt to at least. Yeah, all this cantripping is just devastating for me. Oof, days. Yeah, okay, so I think that's the nail in the coffin. So now I guess we need to top deck exactly Oath. And for Lanny to just have nothing, like no Ray of Revelation, and which seems very unlikely. So we need to have no counterspell, no Ray, and Stone Rain. Oof. No Geddon either. Obviously Geddon kills me. Daze kills me. We can use Grisly Fate to buy 1 turn. We don't have threshold, so we're only going to be creating 2 bears if it resolves. This Dryad is a 2-turn clock. Yeah, it's just going to gush into Geddon here. So that locks it up. Okay, no Geddon. We still have to dodge counter magic. We're not out of the woods at all. We may still just be dead. Winter Orb would also kill us. Mongoose. At least that means no counter spell. Grisly Fate, baby. Let's go. Unfortunately, we're locked into chump blocking the Quirion Dryad, so that part sucks. So Double Source to Plowshares is also lethal. Unfortunate. Alright, so Lanny does give us our first loss with the deck. That's how it goes. 2-1. Round number 4. This hand looks pretty good. So let's go Treat Up first. Then we get to Rampant Growth into Pillage, which sounds like what dreams are made of. Literally, what dreams are made of. Basic Forest. Findornel. Okay, probably bad for me. Okay, we have Wish though. Okay. So let's find the red source here. And we may be able to catch him off guard. Wish for Classum. Maybe we find Slice and Dice, which is kind of specifically for this matchup. Tanglewire. Honestly, it's not even that bad here. This is my issue with Tanglewire. It's just, it's so hit or miss. Such a hit or miss card. Like sometimes it's fantastic and sometimes it's just like, what am I doing here? Why am I playing this in my deck? Can we get the Dream? I think we're more likely to find a green source. So we're just gonna tap a red source, sorry. 2, 3. Because a bunch of my green source enter tapped. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. This just keeps delivering. This league just keeps on delivering. This is incredible. Second survival. Man, must be nice. Oof. There's the anger into Quirion Ranger. So we can pillage the red source, which is quite relevant here. So we're going to spend this turn to pillage the mountain, and I guess we're going to Rampant Growth again. But the pillage on the mountain is a huge deal here. So that just blanks anger, and now we get to... Now we're going to be able to have a better Pyroclasm. We could also attempt to go for something like Wildfire. We're 1 land away from that. Seems pretty good in this board. So we can spend this turn to play the Magnivore, and then next turn, if we find a land drop... So I guess my best draw would be another Rampant Growth, because that would make the Magnivore bigger, so I can swing through whatever my opponent has here. Although I guess I can't even swing because my opponent's got the Acolyte, so Priest of Titania. Now, without haste, I'm not super scared of this. Because even if my opponent finds a Masticore, they're not going to be able to pay the upkeep. So I would like to draw basically anything, any sorcery that I can cast. That's a Burning Wish. So we could Pyroclasm, or we can just Hull Breach. I think I like to Hull Breach. I feel like it's more relevant to make sure I don't fall too far behind this survival. Too bad we're 1 mana short, so we're not going to be able to cast Magnivore this turn, but we need to do this. Like, we are going to fall too far behind this survival. Could have also Classum there, but I can just Classum this coming turn instead. So I think that's fine. So this turn we're just, using the Treat Village to threaten to block. But I'm really hoping to find a land. Any untapped land will do. Opponent's going wide, so he can't really attack here. Oh, he drew the 3rd survival. Oh, that's so good for him. 3 survivals in the top 20 cards is a lot. It really is a lot. Opponent's really going off over there. And now we're in a situation where we need to find an untapped land, because otherwise my opponent can just flip the Force Mage, and that'll make it so that I can't actually kill his stuff. Yeah, second Symbiote is very good. Bounces Multani. There's the Multani again. Yeah, only 3 lands in the top 24 cards and 3 survivals is... Yeah, it's very good for him. Very, very good for him. So now we need to find an untapped land. If we find an untapped land, I think we can win. Dude, this is so sick. Oh, this is so amazing. Can't even believe how amazing this is. Burning Wish, yo. Oh, this game. Oh, this game, this deck. This deck is a screenshot machine. So this gives +2/+2, so like my opponent can't save anything. What they're doing is they're saving a basic forest, which makes sense. And then I guess they can save 2 creatures. So they're going to save probably a Llanowar. They already discarded Color of the Claw, so unless they have another Color of the Claw, this should be good to go. They can use survival to kind of like chain through their bad cards to draw, I guess. It's too bad that my opponent hasn't really been helping me with this Wildfire. With this Magnivore, we're not really in a super... Like, we cannot really clock them too well. I wish we had had a turn where I would have been able to deploy the Magnivore so I can start attacking to put more pressure. So we're going to discard 1, 2, 3, 4. So my opponent's hand currently is 1 basic forest, 1 Aquarian Ranger, and the Llanowar Elf. So we'll see. My best draw would be Firebolt. Firebolt is most likely just game winning. Pyroclasm would also be insane. So another Burning Wish. Slice and Dice would be really juicy. Oof, they got Cradle. Man, this is a lot. Last card is Squee. And taps and plays Symbiote. Oof. Okay, at least we have that. It's a time walk, so I cannot attack with Treetop this turn. So that part sucks. So at least this means my opponent doesn't have business, which is kind of a big deal here. Oh, never mind. Trade the Llanowar for something big. Probably Masticore, I would say. Or another Deranged Hermit if they have another one. Acolyte. Okay, that makes sense. Well, wouldn't be surprised if they just take this one. Yeah, I'll just take 7. I would have really liked to have drawn a Firebolt or another Sweeper there. So there's the Acolyte. Imagine my opponent's going to start to make some mana and bouncing stuff. Man, they just have not drawn very many lands at all, huh? Biorhythm? Aw, come on. Man, if only, imagine if I had had the Slice and Dice there in response to the Biorhythm. Alright, Pyroclasm comes to the main, Phyrexian Furnace, and I think that's it. Hammer's way too slow. Stone Rain's probably not very good either. I think I want the Wildfire in the main over another Stone Rain. And then I can always just wish for one of these Pyroclasms. Any other cards I could want? Not really. So we're just gonna submit this. Man, that was a heck of a game. I was not thinking that we were gonna lose, but I think Fer drew really well that game. It really was the third survival, right? Like everything was very much under control until he found survival number 3, which was obviously pretty devastating. Also, I think I want Harbreach over another Stone Rain now that I think about it. Seems more relevant to deal with survival than to deal with his lands. So I really only want to deal with a couple of them. Yeah, I don't think I can keep this hand. This one's better. So keep this one. Gonna bottom one of these Mossfire Valleys. Play a land and say go. I don't love having drawn that actually. But we're definitely going to just Firebolt here. One of the ways that I lose a game like this with a Pyroclasm in hand is by my opponent being able to like sneak a couple too many creatures into play too quickly. Wow, I was really hoping to find any spell that does anything at all. I think I'm going to Pillage, I guess. Kind of sucks to waste the Pillage on a basic forest. I wish I would be blowing up like a mountain or something, but I think I want to play the card that more mana intensive. Man, just always has the survival. So rough. Tend to kill the Symbiote, but this doesn't really help me too much. So now they can pitch something for Aquarian Ranger, which is going to unlock their mana. Would love to find Phyrexian Furnace so I can get rid of the Squee. There's the Quirion. Now we're kind of just treading water a little bit here. We're not really able to pull ahead too much. I need something else. I need something that I can cast and do some stuff with. Tormod's Crypt's kind of not bad there. It really limits what I can do. I mean, I guess I have to Pyroclasm, unfortunately. Really sucks, but this at least sets my opponent pretty behind. At least we have an elephant now. Opponent's hand is Quirion Ranger, and now they fetch for a Llanowar and 1 unknown. Gonna be 2 unknowns. So they can go Quirion, bounce, forest, cast the other thing. Would love to find a Slice and Dice. Probably my best draw. Dust Bowl doesn't really do anything. Gonna play it, but doesn't really achieve too much. Tormod's Crypt actually kind of good against me because, especially in a matchup like this where my opponent has no sorceries, so a Tormod's Crypt is actually very likely to just straight up kill one of my Magnivores, which is super brutal. Interesting that he goes for Acolyte instead of going for Priest. Maybe he's trying to find more mana. I'm happily trading one of my elephants for his creatures though. Treetop Village is not a great draw, but if I'm gonna draw land, it's probably the best one to draw. So at least there's that. Genesis. Yeah, I'm very surprised by him getting the Acolyte last turn. I feel like, I mean, he can't really pay for this upkeep here, so he should have just chump blocked. Or if you're not gonna block, then he should have just gotten a Priest instead. Okay, so he's got a gazillion mana now. We have some pretty good draws though. We can draw Slice and Dice is my best draw, most likely. We can draw Burning Wishes. We can draw Magnivore. Kind of sucks here. I mean, I guess those are the draws, really. Firebolt. Firebolt would also be pretty decent. Phyrexian Furnace. Probably getting rid of Anger at this point. Something like a Pillage would blow up the mountain, which doesn't do that much, but it could be relevant. Well-Wisher. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a way to offset this race. Still kind of in a spot where I need to fight over his mana. Okay, that's probably the nail in the coffin. Yeah, I imagine that's probably the nail in the coffin. Like, I'm not gonna be able to race this anymore. So now we're in a situation where my opponent can just go get the Range Hermit, and if potentially even assemble lethal this very turn. Although, I guess just Tribal Force Mage kills me. Oh no, because the Priest is not attacking, never mind. Can they just bounce and replay? They probably have enough mana to bounce and replay Force Mage. Yeah, they have infinite mana, so they just have lethal here. Where are my Slice and Dices? I don't think I've drawn a single copy in all of these matches. Oh, okay, sure. The Biorhythm kill. This was not. We were not getting there anytime soon. All right, 2 and 2. Alrighty. What about this? Good enough. We have some stuff going on here. We got Rampant Growth action, and we also have, man, so many 2-drops. Basic Island. Could be anything. Important. Given the option, what should we play first? Another Call of the Herd. It's not a great draw. It's a little bit redundant here. I think I'm going to go with Rampant Growth, Flooded Strand. Let's see what we're up against. Okay, yeah, I think I'm just going to go with Rampant Growth. Like, if this gets countered, it's probably the one I care the least about. Funnily enough, I think I'm going to go find another green source so that next turn I get to double spell. It's like the literal only case that I could envision to go get Rampant Growth, a second green source with Rampant Growth, because I specifically want to double spell next turn, because this deck is mostly red based. So opponent opts, then fetches another island. I would imagine some sort of Stifle Knot up to here. Could be Gat as well. This Dust Bowl not looking great against the mostly basics deck. Oh, okay, there we know. Now we know what we're up against. So I think I want to go first Hull Breach and then Oath. So my opponent has to foil here if they have it. Because if this resolves, then I simply just get to cast a library instead. But they have Gush, so I'm assuming they have foil as well. We're gonna have to hope that our Magnivore gets nice and beefy, because it's kind of an only shot. We're not gonna have too much time. Also, my opponent can prevent the Oath from happening with Stifle or Vision Charm. And at that point, we're kind of stuck with hoping that we just get there. Ugh, it's got the Stifle. Yep. Yeah, so even if I Call of the Herd, my opponent just tramples for lethal, so we're just gonna concede here. Want some Pyroblast. Think I just want all the Hull Breaches in the main deck. Stone Rains seem pretty bad. I'm gonna keep the Fireballs because my opponent seems to be splashing white. Once again, Hammer. Obviously, Hammer was a meme, right? Like, we obviously knew from the very beginning that Hammer was gonna be bad, but although I guess maybe Hammer's better than Slice and Dice. I'm trying to figure out, because I definitely want to use Oath to get Magnivore every time, so I don't want Ravenous Bailoff. It's just a matter of what else do I want to get. I'm at 59 cards. Pyroclasm is an answer to Meddling Mage, but I already have that covered with Firebolt. And this is like the issue with Wish decks, right? Now, like, I don't really want to cut Burning Wish, but at the same time, if I do resolve a Burning Wish, what am I getting? Like, all the cards in my sideboard kind of sucks. Like, I'm not really interested in any of them. So that's why it's so hard to figure out how to build a Wish deck, and I have been really struggling with this. But yeah, I guess I have to leave a Hull Breach just so my Burning Wishes aren't dead, which is kind of awful. But it is what it is. Do we want to have Furnace or Stone Rain? I guess Stone Rain because it's a sorcery. And there we go. So the goal here is to draw a bunch of Pyroblasts. That's my plan. Can't ever fail. We do get to be on the play this time around. I guess this hand is fine. Going to play Foothills and fetch turn 1 because I don't want to get stifled. So go get a basic forest and send the turn back. And we can pillage that one, so that's cool. No need to worry about these. One gets to draw their card, and we're gonna get to slam a Sylvan Library here. The Mono Sorceries deck playing against the... Oh, okay, that's pretty aggressive. I guess my opponent expects this game to go pretty long. So I guess that means that I'm just gonna pass the turn. I could have used Pillage to attempt to blow up the Darker Wastes, but it feels like it's much more valuable to just hold these Pillages to blow up Dreadnoughts. Treetop is actually a pretty fine draw there. Allows me to develop my board and potentially start attacking next turn. Opponent misses land drops. We definitely don't. Okay, 3. Opponent could have Swords to Plowshares, but if they Swords to Plowshares, that seems fine to me. We're getting to a spot where we can double pillage, which is kind of nice. More answers to Dreadnought are fine. The problem is Vision Charm just circumvents all of them, which is kind of a beating. It's pretty hilarious. I mean, I'm still gonna cast it, I guess. Let's go fetch some lands. You want to use a counterspell here? Like, I'm very much okay with that. It also costs them life to use counterspell, but it is a clock. If my opponent doesn't play a shrimp rather quickly, they don't really have that much time here. It's gonna get to the point where they may not even be able to attack. Meddling Mage. That is fine. So I think I'm just gonna pillage a couple of lands so the Magnivore can get through. Naturalize. Don't actually have that card. Okay, that resolved. Okay, so now sideboard. I can go get a Stone Rain just so we put something in the graveyard. I guess it's better to just hold on to the whole reach. Yeah, I'm just gonna pillage the island. Maybe opponent has these. Still kind of fine. I get to attack. And next turn we can still deploy 2 answers to Dreadnought. So, man, these Magnivores are just so silly. I find them pretty hilarious. Haste is a beautiful keyword. Okay, now we're gonna be on the draw. I don't really care about Wish being dead. I care about just not dying. So I'd rather cut a Wish for Whole Breach. That's kind of it. At that point, what am I wishing for? I think I just cut the wishes. They're just bad. Just have Restock and a Stone Rain, I guess. But what am I getting with a Wish? The Restock or the Stone Rain? So it's kind of the same thing. This hand is not good enough, I don't think. This one's better, but it's still not great, honestly. I'm gonna keep it because I can't continue mulliganing. I think I'm gonna bottom the Magnivore. Once again, we're gonna main phase fetch. Would love to draw a Pyroblast. Pyroblast would do some good here. Fetch. Go get a mountain and say, okay, this is good for me. My opponent spending turn 2 using Portent, but opponent chose not to shuffle last turn, so there's no way they missed the land drop. Okay, they do find the land drop. Draw from Portent. Magnivore is not great. Here's a library. Hope that it resolves. It does. I don't feel super confident though. We are kind of at the mercy of a Dreadnought. But if my opponent keeps casting Portents, I think it's literally the only card in their deck that feeds my Magnivore. So I'm okay with that. Another land. They draw from Portent. We do get some library action here. Okay, I think I'm gonna pay for, and I think this turn cast Call of the Herd. So I definitely don't want to pillage. It's a matter of whether I want to Stone Rain or Call of the Herd. What would I rather get countered is the question. I guess the Stone Rain? No, the Call of the Herd, because if my opponent does nothing, then I get to flash it back next turn, which uses my mana more effectively. Opt in response. I got a 3/3. Plow. I'm stoked about that. So that's a show of weakness, I would say. Savos Web. That bothers me, but not that much. Obviously, the fact that I have 6 total lands that get locked by the web, and I drew 2 of them, that part sucks, but hoping to find another land, hoping to find, I guess, Rampant Growth would be okay. Opponent found all 4 portents, that's hilarious. And if I'm not mistaken, they never shuffled. Good stuff. Okay, found another land, which is great. I think I get to pay again now, because my opponent plowed the elephant. Yes, I'm gonna pay for life here. There's another elephant. So the idea is that I want to be above 12 life, because that would make it so I can take a hit from a Dreadnought. They gush in response. Interesting. So the elephant resolves, and they go to discard. Okay, Vision Charm will discard. That's a good thing for me. That's literally the card I'm most scared of. Yikes. So I guess I draw this Firebolt. I may be forced to use Pillage to blow up the Savos Web. This sucks, but I think I have to do it. Like, I just drew 3 of my total 6 cards that get affected by this. It's kind of a big deal. We got a blue Elemental Blast out of it. That's pretty good. Would love to see some Power Blasts myself. Opponent gushes. Main phase gush probably means that we're getting Dreadnoughted here. Best thing I can find is a Vision Charm. So opponent stifles. I guess I'm gonna have to Whole Breach. There's Street of Village. Gonna put Magnivore on top. We can't really double spell, unfortunately. But I have the unlikely scenario. So if I deal 2 here, 14, then swing for 10, we may be able to get there. Just surprise, gotcha. So We're going to attempt to destroy target artifact. Probably no way this resolves with my opponent having 7 cards in hand. You can have Counterspell, Vision Charm, plethora of things. Even Blue Elemental Blast actually stops Hull Breach. Yeah, they Vision Charm. So we get to Firebolt face, because might as well. Then swing for 3, down to 11. The Sabos Web destroyed me. There was not much I could do about it. It absolutely obliterated me. We go down to 2. Opponent has 6 cards in hand. Yikes. Let's see what we find. Blue Elemental Blast would be great, but instead we find a Call of the Herd. So let's go through our options. Magnivore gets got by Daze, gets got by Counterspell, gets got by Blue Elemental Blast. Between Hull Breach and Magnivore, in order to go for lethal, the choice will be whether I want to play around Swords to Plowshares and Daze, or whether I want to play around Vision Charm specifically. Cannot play around Counterspell, cannot play around Foil, cannot play around any sort of stuff like that, you know? So it's gonna be a matter of playing around Vision Charm as opposed to Daze and Swords to Plowshares, because my opponent can just Swords to Plowshares. Either the Magnivore or the Elephant is going to be enough to just swing the race, because I have to go for lethal. So I think it's better for me to Hull Breach instead. It's just a numbers game. Nothing more than a numbers game. So they could have 2 Vision Charms. Yeah, okay, they just have Vision Charm number 3. That's how it goes. But it's less likely for them to have Vision Charm number 3 than for them to have either Counterspell, Blue Elemental. I guess Blue Elemental Blast doesn't matter. Both of them get got by it. But yeah. All right. Yeah, this matchup seems miserable when all of our stuff is sorcery speed and they have a bunch of interaction at instant speed. Like, it's just, we can never win that. Time for the last match. I guess this is fine. We get to hopefully play some rampant growths into stuff. Man, we've been really feeling the cost of having a mono sorceries deck, right? Like the fact that if this were Lightning Bolt, obviously if my opponent plays something I can bolt, I can end step bolt it, right? And then untap and do something else. But same thing with, like, we played against a shrimp deck last round. Anyway, so there's Portent. Just gonna go get red and green stuff and rampant growth for a mountain. Let's see what we're up against. Hopefully not another shrimp deck. Second island from opponent. I'm just gonna Stone Rain here. If my opponent's playing Gush, Daze, whatever, it's not really much I can do about it anyway. That result. Island, Mox Diamond. Guess another Gro-a-Tog? Let's Gro-a-Tog, alright. So now what? How the hell do we beat this? Do I have any answers to a Psychotog? The only realistic answer is... I guess I can dwell on the past, which is hilarious. Yeah, I'm going to Hull Breach to blow up the Mox Diamond. And then I'm gonna Burning Wish. I think I'm gonna get Grisly Fate. And I'm gonna try to grind this Psychotog down through Grisly Fate. Not the best plan I've ever seen. Realistically, what I really want to happen is to draw an Oath of Druids. That way I can eventually overpower this Tog. Gosh, they found another Mox. Yikes. Problematic. Meddling Mage. Named Grisly Fate. I guess it makes sense. So I think we're gonna pillage the Mox, but I can't pillage and Firebolt in the same turn. Man, this is brutal. Super awkward. Okay, found the red source at least. This means we do get to do both things at the same turn. Get another red here. Firebolt the Mage. So now this Grisly Fate's looking pretty good. Also, this Magnivore is like freaking 7/7. Probably 5/5 after my opponent uses Psychotog, but yeah, I guess I have to jam. Pretty unfortunate that we're running into Counterspell, running into Daze. There's the Hardcast Daze. Take 1. This Tog is not the fastest clock, honestly. That's a really aggressive discard of the Quirion Dryad, because I don't think they have lethal here. Let's play an Oath. And I am still going to play this Magnivore anyway. Don't think I can attack, but it also means that my opponent can't attack either. There's Portent. Source is probably the only answer my opponent has to this Magnivore. I doubt they have main deck Disenchant, but maybe they do. Maybe I should have attacked, actually. This is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 power. Yeah, but I guess if my opponent had a cantrip, then that's bad for me. Opponent deep in the tank. I wonder what they have in hand. Maybe it is a Swords to Plowshares and they're really trying to figure out whether to kill this Magnivore. Spoiler alert, they shouldn't. Opponent goes to combat and does not attack. Interesting. Very interesting pickup. Do we just restock here? I think so. Wish for restock. Send the turn back. Once again, we don't attack. Wow, they just concede. It's kind of aggressive. I guess I'll take it. Rebs, yes. Phyrexian Furnace, yes. We do like Oath of Druids. Hull Breach seems fine. don't love Slice and Dice, and I don't love Stone Rains, particularly on the draw. Everything else I think I'm okay with. I guess they conceded because they knew the top card because of the portent, and they knew it was not gonna be a counter spell or the land that they were missing or whatever. What do we have here? Yeah, I think I'm into this hand. We got our Power Blast action. We got some land destruction. This seems fine to me. Opponent did shuffle, so looking for something. That was actually a fine draw there, the Treetop Village. I'm into this. I'm into this. That's fine. A daze that gets used there does not get used to snipe something else, so this I'm not super stoked about. I think here I am going to go for the Pillage. If my opponent has Gush, then that sucks, but I already have Hull Breach for a Mox Diamond, and if this actually resolves, yeah, okay, it did resolve. So now this is kind of pretty good for me. Yeah, I'm gonna pass the turn. And then we're going to start jamming Magnivores next turn, with opponent going to discard. Do I Rampant Growth? No, I think I just Magnivore. It's a 4/4. We get to play 2 of them, and then we get to start growing them. Flooded Strand. Okay, opponent found the land. Call of the Herd. I'm going to Call of the Herd because it grows the Magnivore, and if my opponent has Counterspell, they have to use it here instead of my second Magnivore. Also, I get to hold a Pyroblast. So they go for the Source to Plowshares. That's fine. So now they know about Call of the Herd, so I guess I want to just save this Pyroblast for Meddling Mage. Save the Firebolt for Meddling Mage, because we can use the Pyroblast to kill a Tog. It's pretty nice. So let's Rampant Growth here. Go get a green source so that we can start attacking. And we're just playing it super slow. Maybe I should not be doing that though, because now I'm opening myself up to Armageddon. Yeah, this, I'm regretting this. I shouldn't have done it. I should have just cast a Magnivore and hold up Pyroblast. I'm not going to play this land, I don't think. So this is actually lethal, so that's a reason to play the land. So I'm actually going to play the land because this allows me to attack with the Treetop Village and flashback the Call of the Herd. I can also just cast a second main phase Magnivore, which is kind of interesting. Flashback Call, and then next turn we can... So they have the counter spell. I have to imagine that they have Armageddon in hand, and they're just been trying to set it up. Which would make sense, but like I can't really beat an Armageddon anyway. There's that. I pretty much lose together regardless. Oh, Tog. That one I can beat. Kill that. And cast this guy. Alright, there we go. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. 3 and 3. Not the worst, honestly. Not the worst. Alright, so that was an experience. That was a lot of fun though. Some pretty nice... this deck definitely delivers those screenshot moments, that's for sure. There are some things that I really liked. I really disliked that I did not see Slice and Dice even a single time in the entire league. Like this card would have been particularly insane in the Elves matchup, but I just never saw it. I think it could be fine. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. This card sucked. These cards were okay. Cold Herd was fantastic. This deck had some stuff going for it, some stuff that it just doesn't quite work, unfortunately. The cards like Dwell in the past were just a little bit too clunky, too awkward. I think I would have just much rather have Phyrex Infernus. And that brings me to the point that Burning Wish, man, like I've been here so many times at this point, and every time I end up disappointed. If somebody can figure it out, more power to them, and I would love for them to show me. But this card consistently underperforms, and it's just not good. It just doesn't really do what we want it to do in basically any shell that I've tried it in. I tried it in Domain, I tried it here, I tried it in the black-red Machine Head style deck. So many shells, and it just destroys your sideboarding. It just completely obliterates it, and it just makes it so all of a sudden your sideboard is just not very good. Which is a huge problem in a format like Premodern, where there are such fantastic sideboard cards that you can have access to, especially in a core like red and green. Like these decks have very good sideboard cards, but Burning Wish forces you to play cards that are either mediocre at what they do, but just give you the flexibility, or simply a little bit too narrow. The problem is, as we saw multiple times while sideboarding, like sometimes you will simply not have enough good things to go get you with your wish, and then at that point you kind of want to cut the wishes, but the cards that you're bringing in are just not good enough. They're just underpowered cards that are taking up slots. So I honestly have no idea how to solve that, and I have tried so many times and failed miserably every time that at this point I'm probably just over it. I don't think I can break Burning Wish. I did my best. I don't know if somebody... It needs to be somebody smarter than I am, because I simply cannot figure out. But yeah, we can proudly say that Hammer of God Bogardan went 3-3 in a in a Premodern league, but that's, I think, as far as poor Hammer is gonna go. But Magnivore was just hilarious. Like the haste, it was so bad against Elves, but that was to be expected. While Terrorvore is just bonkers because they can't block it. But just it was so cool to just get wins out of nowhere with Magnivore. So I got what I wanted out of this league, and I'm very excited. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. And Rampant Growth was pretty sick. I'm gonna say that I was always a big fan of this card ever since back in the Decree D deck, grandfather of the Black-White control deck that we have today. So I'm happy to see that this can have different shells. I think that Rampant Growth is kind of a very underplayed and obscure card that people haven't really explored to its full potential. So cool stuff. But yeah, just having a deck built around sorceries is kind of brutal, to be honest. In a format with Shrimp, like you just cannot do this. Like you just cannot ever beat Dreadnought. It's just too easy to play around a deck that is entirely built off of sorceries. So yeah, I think that this deck is pretty much dead on arrival. It was a cool idea though, and I got it out of my system, so hopefully it was a fun watch. But that's going to be it for me today, folks. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And as I said at the beginning of the video, if you want to support my content, you can do so on Patreon, which you can find the link in the description down below. And that's going to be it for me. Have a fantastic rest of the day, and I'll see you soon in the next Premodern video. Take care, and bye-bye!